Hello Internet, welcome to the channel. My name's Frankie and in today's video we are looking at the Twilight Pack DLC for Planet Zoo Console Edition and all that is included. Now we're going to start off by looking at the construction pieces, and I've got to say straight away, I think this pack is genuinely amazing. I love how thematic it is. It really leans into this kind of gothic style building like pieces, and they are wonderful. Here you can see various pieces for building towers. You've got the main body of the towers, the tops where you could have either a steeple kind of effect or more of a parapet. It's up to you. There really is quite a nice range here. We've also got a couple little kind of, I don't know what you'd call them. They're like platforms for putting gargoyles on, and that's pretty cool. We'll have a look at the gargoyles in a bit that come with this pack, but straight out of the gate you've got the ability to make some really awesome looking towers here. So we're going to move over to what I think is probably the best construction piece from this pack, and that is quite simply their selection of wooden planks. These planks have been used quite a lot in my builds already. They are a lovely thickness, they've got a good amount of texture where they're not too weathered as to jump off the wall really dramatically, but they kind of blend in really nicely. We've also got really nice door knockers, hinges and a lock. Overall, this little set of wooden pieces for a door, just amazing. Over here we can look at the more generic building pieces, the ones that are going to be aligning to the grid, and they are a lovely stone kind of building piece, which I think looks quite lovely for building some rustic looking buildings. And talking of rustic, we've also got some amazing masonry pieces, some real stonework that would make any of your buildings look really old and fancy. And they even have some little weathered pieces as well, which I really like, but for the most part they have some really nice stone pieces there. We also have some stained glass windows, and you can change the colour. You can see that I've changed the colour of one of them just to give a bit of an example of what they might look like in a different kind of light, but there is an opportunity to be quite creative there. I don't think I will be, because that's going to take a lot of time, but there is the opportunity. Over here we're looking at some metal pieces for fencing. I really like these. It looks perfect for like a church courtyard or a graveyard, something like that. And we also have some more excellent wooden pieces. Over here we have some paper mache kind of animals, and I can't remember his name, Myers I think it is, one of the guys from the campaign. I use those in my gift shop, they are really quite effective. Over here we've got some pumpkins, I'm really looking forward to using these. Halloween is coming, and as I'm doing a bit of a breakdown on the Twilight Pack, I'm considering doing a mini zoo that is going to be Halloween themed. So let me know in the comments down below if you would like to see that. Also, we have some amazing fungi and mushrooms. I'm a sucker for mushrooms, so I'm so happy that these are in the game, and they glow. They are really bright in the dark, so I'm quite happy with that. These white pieces as well, they glow in the dark. Also, some decals for your walls, and I think I'm going to change to nighttime after we have a look at these lights, just so that we can actually see how all these things work in the dark. Here we have a torch that would hang on the wall. I can't remember what that's called, the kind of bucket kind of thing that has fire in it. But all of these pieces work excellently in the dark, and that's another thing that I want to do with a mini zoo for Halloween, would be to really focus on lighting. That's not something I've really dealt with because all of my zoos kind of take place in the day, so it'd be kind of cool to have to focus on that a little bit. And when I did this little test to put in the, putting the sun away, I guess, changing the time of day, I didn't realise that some of the windows also lit up at night, so that's pretty cool as well. Now I put it back to daytime to have a look at the rest of the items in this pack. As you can see already, it is a pretty good pack in terms of construction pieces. Over here we've got our gargoyles, which are just super funny looking. They're really derpy. I really like them. They kind of look like they're having a meeting, like they're hatching some kind of plan. And on the left you can see the raccoon, which is our unlockable statue for this pack. Over here we have these signs. I really like this style, the super illustrative style of sign. I really like those. And over here we have the roof pieces that are just kind of standard roof pieces, but we do also have the really tall steeple piece, so you can make yourself a church or something pretty easily. What we're going to look at next, we're going to have a look at some of the blueprints, I think, as we are done with all the construction pieces. Here we have the walkthrough exhibit that they give you, because the walkthrough exhibits were introduced with this pack, and this is designed to house some bats. And you get another look at one of the things added in this pack, and that is the stalactites. Adding stalactites is going to add a lot of variety to your rock work. Not only can you have them actually act as stalactites, but you could turn them upside down, sink them into the ground to act as really small rocks on the surface of the ground. This is the entrance that they supply you with for the Twilight Pack. Again, they're really leaning into this kind of gothic-y castle look, and I really like it. Bit awkward, some people accidentally spawned in here. They're going to have a pretty crap visit because this path doesn't go anywhere. And then over here we have the other buildings, the other blueprints for this pack. I just really like this style they've gone for. You can imagine all these buildings existing within castle walls. I particularly like this vets. Using the illustrative signs of each animal to decorate the front of the vets is a really nice touch. I also quite like these two towers. I'm not entirely sure that I would use them all that often, because if you're going to use one tower, you kind of need to make a castle. It feels a bit random to just use one by itself, but you know. I also really like how they've used some small faux rocks and coloured them to match the stonework pieces, and then kind of do archways around windows and doors. I really like that effect, and hopefully I remember to do it. I would like to try and replicate that when I'm building my own stuff for this kind of theme. Again, if you want to see me doing this, let me know in the comments, because I'm pretty excited by the concept of doing a Halloween zoo. So, yeah. Yeah, we're just going to have a final look at these blueprints. They are really nice. I think they blend together really well. I must say that about all the packs, actually. All their blueprints create such a cohesive theme. I really like them. Continuing with the blueprints, we're going to move on to the more decorative ones, and that includes this kind of, I can't remember what they called it, a Twilight Garden, I think. I really like the busted fences and the use of this old, tangled, rotten tree. It is so thematic and really helps guide your eye towards the centre. I think this will make a really good centrepiece for a Twilighty, Halloweeny themed zoo. Next to that, we have an old decrepit windmill that has been turned into a coffee shack. I really like this. It's so simply done in terms of how to make it look weathered. Just by using alternating slats on the actual windmill pieces, it makes it look a bit more decrepit. It is really nice. You may recognise that bat sign, as I used it out the front of my bat house in Floki Wildlife Park. And here we have a massive tower that doesn't have any function. It's not a shop or a vets or anything. It doesn't have any staff utility. I love the detail. You can see there was stairs up above you, which is crazy. But this would make a really cool, just a bit for you to walk through as a guest. Just going over a path, it would be crazy. And this is another thing that will go over a path, a nice cute little gate. I really like this. I especially like the pumpkin that's kind of been impaled on one of the fence posts. Very cool. As for the foliage and plant life added in this pack, we have a really nice variety. We have this really tall, creepy tree and some branches that we can add to it. It is super creepy. That is basically the only word to use for it. It looks really dried out, gnarly, and just kind of dangerous. We also have these foxglove plants, which I really like. They add a much needed pop of colour to what can be kind of an autumnal feeling area. And over here we have some shorter plants as well. Now this is the highlight of the plant life for me in terms of this pack, and that is the mushrooms. In particular, something I like about them is something that I did whilst experimenting, just placing these things. Oh, we've also got the piles of autumnal leaves. I really like those. But sinking the mushrooms into trees, you get a really nice effect where it looks as if though they are growing on the trunk of the tree. Speaking of which, we also have these trees that were added. I can't remember what any of these plants are called, to be honest, but I do really like these trees. They're quite dark and quite bulky as well. Some of the trees can be quite spindly, but these ones are nice and bulky, kind of stocky. And we also have some new creepers, some new vines, and this ivy looks really nice. And again, it's got that nice dark look to it. It really, even the plants in this pack really do lend themselves to this theme. And here's a look at the stalactites not in use, just plonked on the floor. You can see what I mean. If you turn them upside down, they're going to make really cool rocks. There is also this really cool spider webby bench that was added, and it is super creepy. I imagine it's super uncomfortable as well. There are 2 bins which look like cauldrons, which are really nice, and there's also a picnic table that matches the bench. Again, it's going for that spider web look, and the most uncomfortable stools in the world. It does have a really unpractical, or impractical parasol. I mean, you are never extending that. Look how tall it is. How do you even clean that thing? Regardless, it looks pretty cool, but I'm not entirely sure that I'm going to be using it in the future. Now, first up for the animals included in this pack is the raccoons, or for those Americans out there, the trash pandas. These guys are super charming, they're adorable, and they have a lovely range of animations. They also really like a swim for some reason. I'm not entirely sure if that's just the habitat I built for them that makes them want to swim loads, but they do seem to swim quite a lot. If you would like to see how I built this habitat, this does already exist in Floki Wildlife Park, so go and check out that original video. I will chuck a card up in the corner right now. These guys are super adorable. They're one of those animals that I could watch for quite a while. They just seem to have a lot of personality, and they don't seem to mind humans either. Fortunately, because in the wild they do encounter humans fairly often, they're really not that bothered by them in our zoo, meaning that you can have them be in fairly open areas and not worry about their stress levels going a bit haywire like if it were flamingos or something. Next up is the red fox, and I've got to say, as a British person, it's weird seeing these guys in a zoo, because I literally look outside my window at the front of my house around 8 o'clock and you will see 2 or 3 of them just on the other side of the road, because I live opposite a little green. So it's super strange seeing these guys in a zoo because of how widespread they are in the UK. But they are very charming indeed, especially this one going for a little paddle. Look how cute he is. And one of my favourite animations that I've witnessed with these guys, because I've only looked at them for the purposes of this video, is when they shake off in order to get dry. Just like you would expect of any canid, any canine, any dog, they do that adorable little shake where they shake their entire body to flick off all the water, and it is very, very cute. I can see myself using these guys in the future. I kind of like the idea of doing a Rewilding Britain series, a mini zoo where we collect all the animals that would have been in the UK at one point or another and kind of work towards repopulating those. So these guys would be included in that, and I think that'd be really cool. I think we're about to see the shaking animation after he has a little sniff of the grass, of course. I also quite like how they wag their tails, it's pretty cute as well. There we go, very energetic, and he looks awfully pleased with himself once he's dried off. Now for one of my favourite animals of the pack, and that is the wombat. This is the one that I was kind of most looking forward to about this pack because they are just so funny. They're these little balls of fluff that have a bunch of energy, and I love how they walk. It's so like ploddy, if you know what I mean. They've captured that movement perfectly. And one of my favourite facts about the wombat is that they have cuboid poops. For some reason, when they go for a poop, it comes out as little squares, and they have captured that for the game, which is perfect. Now it's time for the most quotable animal from Bambi, at least in my opinion, and that is the skunk. If you're wondering what the quote is, it's just, he can call me Flower if he wants to. For some reason, me and my wife say that quite a bit. These skunks are adorable. When you think of skunks, you often think of them with their tail raised because that's when they're going to spray. But these guys do keep them level most of the time, as the animal actually would in the wild. And I don't know why, but that just is really cute to see. For some reason, it makes their walk look a lot more sassy, and they in general just look a little bit adorable. I'm a big fan of these guys and I do look forward to using them in the future. I believe that they use burrows in the game. They've just gone in the raccoon habitat for now because that's how I'm demonstrating all the animals. So we're not getting a look at their burrowing feature, but they do use that in the game as far as I'm aware. So that will mean quite an interesting build for their habitat. Last but certainly not least is the Egyptian fruit bat. Now, if you guys have been watching the channel for a while, you will know about this bat house that I built a while ago, especially because I bloody love it. I really enjoyed building this habitat, so if you haven't seen it already, please do check it out. There'll be a card thrown up in the corner right now. The bats are really fun to watch. There are a few different animations. Because it's a walkthrough exhibit, they're not like the rest of the animals where they're free roaming and doing random things, interacting with the environment accordingly. Instead, these guys are put on some loop animations, but in my opinion, they work really well, and it's not really noticeable because you're not going to be spending hours watching the bats. You're just going to be giving them a passing glance, I guess. So you have a few really cool hanging upside down sleeping animations and these super erratic flying animations. I think the flying animations are hilarious. Also think they look really sweet when they're eating pieces of fruit and stuff, and there's not much more to say. They're just lovely and I really like them. They're an excellent addition to your zoo, and I would suggest that anybody uses them, because not only does it add a lot more variety to your zoo, because there aren't many walkthrough exhibits available on console. At the moment it is just these guys and a few species of butterfly, although we are getting a sloth very soon. So yeah, I would definitely suggest you guys use these. And overall, I would say that this pack is definitely one of the strongest. It is up there as one of my favourites. I think this and the aquatic pack are my favourite DLCs that we've got available on console at the moment. So if you haven't already, I would definitely suggest you go out and buy the Twilight Pack for Planet Zoo Console Edition. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments if you are interested in seeing a Halloween zoo or what else you would like to see on the channel in the future. And if you enjoyed it enough, please subscribe so you can see any future videos. Thank you for watching, and until next time, I'll see you later.